Hey everybody, happy Thursday. I am actually in Miami, Florida at the moment. Sorry for the funny little layout if you're watching on any of the social media platforms like LinkedIn and YouTube, but I'm live streaming right now from my hotel room in Florida. I'm here for a real estate summit with Grant Cardone. Starting tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, and then I'm flying back home. But one of the really important things that we were finding out today as I was flying across the country was whether or not the CPUC was going to be passing NEM 3.0, and it was passed unanimously across the board to pass NEM 3.0. So I wanted to come on live and give you guys some of my thoughts. So if you are in the solar industry and you're watching, if you have questions or comments, let me know in the comment section. If you are a homeowner and you have been thinking about getting solar in the state of California, I'm going to share some information and some thoughts that I have on that. And then Unique says no cuss words. I know it's not good information. So I know a lot of my viewers on YouTube, you are probably looking for solar for your home, or you're doing research, you're trying to understand things. There's so many things to think about and to consider when going solar. And I've always taken, wanting to educate and consult and help you through that transition. And that is what I'm going to continue to do even after NEM 3.0 goes into effect. So what ended up happening today was the CPUC met. There was public comment, and then they voted and they passed it. Like, no one objected to NEM 3.0. This has been an over a year-long battle trying to get for the CPUC and the utility companies to come up with some sort of new net metering, I guess, iteration if you want, but it really is going to be detrimental to some homeowners that use a ton of power during the peak hours. So currently under NEM 2.0, which is still, we have 120 days to get as many homeowners solar powered with a net metering agreement under 2.0, which is a 20-year agreement with utility companies for truly a one-to-one net metering exchange. Let's see, Brian Dixon on YouTube watched 3 hours of public comments with not one for 3.0. Are you meaning the none of the commissioners were for 3.0, or I'm assuming all the public comment was all against NEM 3.0? I was flying, so I couldn't even watch if I wanted to, but I did see, they always have to air those, live stream the meetings and whatnot. But currently under the NEM 2.0 is you can get solar power installed on your home, and I believe it's up to 120% offset that is factored in. So meaning if you use 10,000 kilowatt hours, you could go up to 12,000 kilowatt hours to be included in the net metering. Okay, so all the public were against 3.0. Yeah, I went to San Francisco to the CPUC meeting I think it was back in September, and I gave public comment. And it was, everyone was pleading with the commissioners, don't let this pass, go back to the drawing board. Unique J says, I bought my home a year ago, been looking into solar for almost just as long. Now the clock is ticking. Yes, Unique, it is ticking. And here's the tricky thing with what's happening with this 120-day window. In California, like if you were Unique, if you were to say, Jamie, get me a quote, I don't care, just get me solar. I want it, I need it, I want to get it in within this next 120 days. I will do my darndest to make that happen. But say you need a main panel upgrade, or say you need roof work done, or say you want a battery. These 3 separate events from solar installation add time to the timeline of solar installation. What's happening is for homeowners who need main panel upgrades, and maybe you don't need it. Maybe you're in a newer home and everything's already been upgraded and the roof is new, and that's great. There is a chance that you could still get solar installed, get the permits from the city or county in a timely fashion. If you live where I live, which is in Novato, California, they are not prompt about issuing permits. And not only are they not prompt about issuing permits, they are not prompt about scheduling final inspections. And they're failing a lot of final inspections for reasons initially that might be related to the solar system and a little tiny thing. But I had a homeowner fail an inspection on Friday, or sorry, not on Friday, on Wednesday. It was a re-inspection. The re-inspection for what was failed the first time passed, but then they went and found another thing that was unrelated to the first failure to fail the homeowner on. So, and it was over needing a fire inspection from the city's fire department, which has never been requested or required. And the fire department's like, why do you need us? There's no need. It was just ridiculous. All that to be said, inspections can delay PTO from the utility companies because they won't issue PTO or interconnection without the signed permits. And signed permits happen at final inspection. So there's things, this is a construction job at the end of the day. And we can't, no matter who you talk to about solar, we can't guarantee that a system is going to be interconnected in 120 days from now. If you're in the process, fingers crossed it happens. But if you were somebody that needed a main panel upgrade, there's no incentive for the utility companies to expedite that just so the homeowner can get locked into NEM 2.0. I don't like being a pessimist, but I think that is not being pessimistic. I think that's just the reality of what to be anticipating when you're dealing with not just solar installation, but you need that panel to be safe to tie the solar system into your main service panel. And there's other things that can play into whether or not you have enough backfeed in your main service panel for solar. Especially if you have a really large system and you have an older home and an older service panel, we might run into some challenges there. And then if you live in a really old home where the gas meter is within 12 inches of the service panel, it's going to likely require a relocation too. So there are things that need to happen for a solar system to be installed. And so it gets complicated. But this 120-day clock starts today. So everything that gets sold, to like say you signed a contract tomorrow, there's no way that anyone can guarantee that you're going to be interconnected. And it's the utilities that are granting the interconnection. They may have some rules and regulations around that, and I haven't read the reports. I haven't seen any statements come out yet from the CPUC, but that's going to be the thing that I'm going to be diving into and reading and finding out. But what I can tell you is for homeowners that are looking into solar or in the process, I know the solar companies are going to be working their hardest to get your systems installed, inspected, finalized, and signed off so that the interconnection paperwork can go through. And fingers crossed, the utilities grant the PTO or permission to operate interconnection fairly quickly. I did just have a homeowner get her interconnection a week and a half ago, and it only took a week really for them to get interconnected from the time the application was submitted online. They got PTO a week later, which was awesome. So that is one good thing. If this was summertime and they gave 120 days from like the middle of summer and massive amounts of people were going solar, that might be a little bit more challenging, because in the summertime it usually takes a little bit longer for interconnection for whatever reason. Probably because it's just a long line queue to get interconnected. So that is that. From here on out, you have 120 days to get your solar system interconnected. If you're starting the process now, it's kind of like you're rolling the dice. So that would be what I would just say. We're going to do our very, very best to get it interconnected for you. So what's happening with NEM 3.0, 121 days from now, if there's some miraculous way that the governor can step in, but if Governor Newsom wanted to do something about this, he would have done it already. So there you have it. That's our governor. Even though he's pro-solar, him not doing anything, or at least modifying the existing thing, proposal, and having meetings with the CPUC. I don't even know if that's possible, but I think it is, because he's the governor, and the governor appoints the commissioners, I believe, or not appoints them. They're elected in, but they work together, so there's no reason for that. Sorry, Unique, you said, I'm sure I'm going to need a panel upgrade. Yeah, and then going back to the panel upgrades, then the question lies, are you overhead fed, which means there's a power line that runs from the street power, the transmission line, to your house, on the corner of your house. Is it overhead fed, or is it underground fed? If it's underground, I don't think that you're going to get it done in time. Brian says, from yesterday's updated version, customers that file interconnection applications before NEM 2.0 sunset are required to submit final building permit sign-off, within 3 years to remain under NEM 2.0. Okay, so I did see that, actually. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I just read that when I was reading that, and so that's good. So it is a race to get things, there is some time from the time that the applications are submitted. Pradeep, sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. My eyes are getting really bad, and I'm doing this from my phone. So forgive me for Pradeep, if I mispronounced your name. But hello, and thanks for watching on YouTube tonight. Going back to the interconnection application and sunsetting and final building permit and everything like that, I raised the question. A lot of people finance their solar systems, and credit applications usually last 6 months before they have to. The solar installer has to request an extension, and it extends again another 6 months from there. So I'm kind of curious to see what the financing companies how they are going to be responding, or if they're going to make it so that when going into NEM 3.0, and I'll explain that in just a second, some of my thoughts on that. But 3 years to sign off. God, I would hope that would never be the case, but I do have a homeowner, and I care about these homeowners tremendously. They have had solar, and their solar project has taken over 2.5 years. I'm not going to say who the installer or the company was, or who they are, but this project has taken over 2.5 years. From the almost 2.5 years, from the time we signed the contract, submitted the project. It's just gone through every hoop you could think of. The installers just have not cooperated. They've been through hell, really, solar hell. These stories do happen, unfortunately. And today I got an email from them saying that their loan reamortized, because the loan has been in effect for 18 months. The upshot or silver lining of all this is that the solar company is reimbursing the homeowners for all the bills, the payments, because the system is not on, but the loan reamortized, and the payments went up, for them 26% And now the payments are, instead of $150, they're $200. And he wanted to understand what happened. And it just dawned on me that this project has taken so long that it failed, like, I think the 5th inspection. It's just a mess, guys. So choose your company and installers wisely. This company that is responsible for the solar project, I'm no longer representing or working with, just so you guys know. So this would never happen with the installers that I'm, hopefully, fingers crossed. I can't ever say, this is a construction project at the end of the day. But they would fall into this 3 years, having up to 3 years to remain under NEM 2.0. If they were to have signed today and, everything. So I can understand and see why that would be the case. So that's good news, but interconnection documentation has to be submitted, and every installer submits it at a different point in time. A lot of them are going to have you DocuSign the net metering agreement at the same time of you signing for your solar installation, as well as signing the California Public Utility Commissioner's Consumer Protection Guide. They should take advice of their own and have protected solar and homeowners and businesses and communities to go solar under NEM 2.0. But that's my opinion, and my opinion doesn't matter. Apparently, it doesn't matter. Or all of the Californians that petitioned and called in and everything. So I am a little disappointed in how this has transpired, but I'm not surprised either. So what do we have to do? Just like anything else, we have to adjust. And that's the plan. I'm not worried that solar is dead in California. I know Nevada went through something similar to this about 5 years ago, and they went through changes with the CPUC and whatnot, and not CPUC, Nevada Public Utility Commissioners. There's such outrage over it that they revisited and changed the net metering in Nevada. I don't know that that's going to be the case. We don't really know what's going to happen. So all we can do is adjust. It's kind of like sailing. You have to trim your sails. You're going to have a sheet in let the sails out and shift the way you're going to go through the waters, and you're still going to hopefully get savings with solar, but we have to do it properly. So NEM 3.0, from what I understand, is going to be moving to, I don't know that it's going to be a 20-year agreement like NEM 2.0. I need to ask that question. I do know that for existing solar systems, under the current net metering agreement 2.0 and NEM, the original NEM, that for people who want to add to their systems because they're experiencing a true-up, they can only add up to 10% before getting automatically switched over to NEM 3.0. So that is one thing. So if you are experiencing a true-up and you want more solar, get it in now before NEM, in the next 120 days. Fingers crossed that your main service panel has enough backfeed to take the more kilowatts of solar. So that's one thing. Secondly, the buyback rate for excess energy is no longer a one-to-one exchange. And when I say one-to-one exchange, in NEM 2.0, you get switched over to time of use. There are still people that are on the tiered system that I've seen. And that makes sense for low energy users. I'm talking like under 600 kilowatt hours a month. Tiered may make more sense for you. But if not, you get switched over time of use, and that's peak and non-peak. Peak hours are generally 4 to 9 p.m. for most of the utility companies in California and probably across the nation that has net metering. But peak hours is when the vast majority of homeowners are using their power, and it's also the time of day where there's no sun production or no energy being produced because the sun is set. Like it's, the sun's setting right now at 5 o'clock. And so 5 o'clock is when everyone's getting home and firing up this, appliances to cook dinner, and lights are on and heat is on. And if you've gone to a heat pump, you're using electricity, you're not using gas any longer. So you're all electric. You're running your dishwasher or doing laundry or whatever, and you're solar powered and you don't have a battery, you're going to be paying retail rates for that energy. So solar will, the way that they've structured NEM 3.0 is kind of making you get a battery. Like, you kind of have to get a battery. The sucky thing is the cost of batteries have gone up too. So your ROI is that much longer. The good news is batteries are also included in the 30% federal tax credit. So that's a really good thing. So it is going to be, and here's another thing about batteries. There's a lot of information about batteries. There's different batteries on the market. And you as homeowners need to understand there are limitations to batteries. There are, from battery manufacturers of, any battery that's 10 kilowatt hours of stored energy, there's going to be some that you're not going to be able to tap into because the battery needs reserves. There's also batteries where it will only cover 4 to 5 breakers in your home and only up to 25 amps of breakers in your sub panel. This is in a backup situation. If the power is out and you're using your battery as truly backup power. But when there's energy to the grid and everything like that, and there's not a power outage, your battery does work and power your entire home, but you're just going to drain those batteries really fast if you are using a lot of load. And that just means you're, like, I'm in my hotel and I have all the lights on. But this is just a small little room. But if you have a big home and all the kids are, on their computers or watching TV, or you're heating your bathroom floors because it's freezing cold or whatever it might be, that you might run through your battery really, really fast, the stored capacity. So if you get solar, it's still going to help you financially during the day, save on your energy costs. But the peak hours is what you're going to really have to, you and your solar consultant, we're going to have to get granular about your loads and when you're using energy the most. The nice thing about like PG&E, you can go in to your online portal if you would live in PG&E. I don't know about SCE or SCGE, but primarily help a lot of homeowners in Northern California and SCE. I haven't helped too many in SCGE. I've met with them, but I don't know their online portal. But on the PG&E portal, you can log in and see your energy usage, and you can go into a daily view and you can see hour by hour when you're using the vast majority of your power. So that would be a telltale sign for you, or at least for you to understand how much energy you're using between 4 and 9 p.m. Because if you get a battery, then you'll know, I have 13 kilowatt hours of stored power in one battery, but I really only have access to 11 kilowatt hours. How much will that battery carry me through based on my current usage? You can kind of, we'll be able to get pretty close to understanding your energy patterns or usage during that 4 to 9 p.m. The kicker is you need at least a 6.5 kilowatt solar system to fully benefit from the batteries and the stored power. In other words, you need a big enough solar system to not only power your house during the daytime, but also to recharge the battery day in and day out. Tesla like Powerwalls, they like to see a minimum of a 7 kilowatt system for the fullness, the full benefits of using storage or their batteries as what we call load shifting. So using solar during the day, recharging the battery during the day, and then excess power goes to the grid for net metering, and then using the battery during peak hours, it's going to be a little bit different because people are probably not going to want to offset all of their energy like we used to, because we could bank it and get a 1-to-1 ratio, or, if we banked up a bunch of peak hours during the summertime, we would have those peak kilowatt hour value or credit to be able to use during the wintertime. But that's not going to be the case anymore because they're moving to net billing. And net billing means you're going to true up or settle up on a monthly basis. So right now we're in the dead of winter. We do not have enough solar production to offset all of our month's usage in the most of the United States. So if that's the case, your solar system's gonna offset maybe a third, for some areas a quarter of the energy consumption or energy usage in the wintertime. And then the rest, you might get a little bit in the battery, and then the rest you pay retail rates to the utility company. So that's how the billing's working in the wintertime. So for people who want a battery that also want solar, you need a minimum system size. And if you use even, I would say in California, if you're using 8,000 kilowatt hours a year, I don't think you're going to get to a 6.5-7 kilowatt system to be able to get the full benefit of the battery, if that makes sense. So it's going to be it'll be interesting to try and size systems just right for the people that don't get batteries, and then for the people who do want batteries, sizing the system appropriately to be able to benefit as much as you can from the solar, while also using the battery and benefiting from the battery from between 4 and 9 p.m. So there's still going to be savings, because it's better to be, say it's 60% offset. It's better to be 60% offset with solar at half the rate of what you're paying to the utility company. The problem is if you are left with 40% and you don't get a battery, that 40% is going to be billed probably during the peak hours, which is the more expensive time of day. So we'll have to really sit down and calculate what's going to be the best situation for you, what financially is going to be the best situation for you. Because even that 40% that's left, say you have 10,000 kilowatt hours, 6,000 of it's covered by solar, and 4,000 of it's left, to the utility company. That's fine, but we also know that rates continue to go up. So I saw on the CPUC schedule that they're going to be looking at rate increases. So it's just like whammy, whammy, whammy all over the place. We're just going to have to it's the goal for every person that meets with a solar consultant is to assist you in making that transition, and to do it in the most financially feasible manner with the equipment that you want, obviously, for your home. But really, that's what it's going to come down to, is working together to make sure that you're not sizing it too large and you're not undersizing it. So that, or maybe financially it makes sense to go up to 80 or 90 or 100% offset, so that you avoid the summertime peak hours, so that you're not left air conditioning. In California, everyone that needs air conditioning is the I'm going to block this user because it's not appropriate spam. Summertime is when it's the most expensive, and it's the most the most usage of energy because of air conditioning. So we're just going to have to run some analysis and understand what's going to be best for you as a homeowner. And if you're watching and you're in solar sales and you're helping homeowners and you're meeting with them, you're really going to have to get educated on how to educate your homeowners. And if you've never sold batteries, now is the time to just really, really dialed in with batteries and the functionality, the limitations, the capacity, and everything, because not all batteries are created equally. And the other problem is, or I don't want to say problem, the other challenge is that there are supply chain shortages. There's a supply chain issue, which then drags out timelines of when solar can be installed, especially if you're trying to get it in with NEM 2.0 right now. Batteries, for whatever reason, add a level of complexity. Building codes, you have building codes in California that can't be installed in the garages. They have to be installed, at least in Northern California. I think it's in Southern California too. If they're installed in the garage or in an enclosed area, it has to be like finished with 2 dedicated sprinkler heads pointed down at the batteries. They have to be so many feet from, at least 3 feet from a window, a door, and the gas meter. So there's those challenges, you know. So we've got challenges. Solar in California is not dead. It's not impossible. We just, patience and education is going to be key as we transition into NEM 3.0. So that, I hope that this was really helpful. If you guys have any questions or comments, please let me know. I'm going to be, come Monday, I'm going to be diving in and just doing more research and understanding the implications and what this all means. What this all means for homeowners in California. I know it is kind of a sad day. It feels really somber. You know, it's like I found out yesterday that Twitch passed away, and you know that it was ruled a suicide, and that was like a really sad day. When I saw Twitch, I thought it was I saw the headline. I didn't even dawn. Twitch was a dancer, is a prolific dancer in hip hop and all that good stuff. And if you watch the show, So You Think You Can Dance, he was one of the, he might have won the show. Anyways, he went on to be on the Ellen show and was like the DJ, and he just was a wonderful, wonderful person. But when I saw the Twitch highlight or headline, I thought it was for like Twitch, like the I think it's a streaming network or something, or a gaming thing. And I was like, oh, well, that's a bummer for all the people that like to stream and game on Twitch. And then I saw on social media that it was the dancer and the personnel. And I just was like, oh, he was such a nice, he just seemed so nice and positive. And so it was a sad day yesterday. And then this, and anyways, not to say that this is as bad. I think you kind of understand what I'm saying, but it is a sad day for Californians, for the industry. It's going to impact the industry more than we probably realize, for all the installers. Everything, we all thought that the solar industry would become more and more robust, which it has been. Like, you know, it has grown, solar's grown, but through COVID, you know, a lot of homeowners went solar, but what we had tariff issues happening. We had import issues happening. We have battery demand going up, EV cars going up, and the EVs share the same battery technology as batteries that are used on homes. And we're competing. It's just the cost of goods have gone up, cost of labor has gone up, the cost of fuel has gone up for all the laborers that are driving to and from work to come to the house for truck rolls, we call them in the industry. Everything has just gotten more expensive, and now the cost to borrow money has gotten more expensive, and so everything's it's for people who went solar 3, 4, 5 years ago. It was like a beautiful time to go solar. So bravo, you were right. It is a bit of a sad day. The other thing that, you know, California has been the leader in solar, which just might be an indicator of things to come down the road for other states who look to California for leadership in solar and renewable energy. my fingers are crossed that your utility commissioners and your governors protect your solar rights in California, or not California, but across the nation. You know, there are some states that have the law is that the net metering cannot be touched, which is amazing. Like Washington State, I believe, and Oregon might have the same thing. I know Washington State for sure. They can't change the net metering, which is awesome. But the tricky thing with Washington is you don't get as much sunlight. The cost to borrow money makes it really hard to justify, you know, the difference between the cost of solar and borrowing money versus what you're paying the utility company. We're kind of seeing that a little bit in Florida. I have a feeling, honestly, for people that are just looking for affordability and renewable energy, then they don't care about the tax credit or they don't qualify for it, I think we might start seeing more and more leases pop up. I've never really been a big person with leases, but I think that just given what we know is coming, we might see more leases. And leases are not a bad thing. You still save money. It's just if you know you're going to sell your house, it can be tricky and challenging. So just there's pros and cons to leases. So yeah, so that's what I wanted to talk about and just come on and share with you guys what happened today. It is, like Bravo said, it is a bit of a sad day for solar in California. We were really, really hoping that they would kind of use common sense and kind of draft behind the IRA, which is the Inflation Reduction Act, and extending the tax credit out of the 30, not only extending the federal tax credit out another 10 years, but bumping it back up to 30%. So yeah, there's going to need to be some analysis on what's best for every homeowner, because even though you might live in the same footprint of a house, everybody uses energy differently. So you can't be like, well, he has 8 panels and I need 15. Why? You know, this all has to do with your energy habits. So there are some really cool things out there on the market, and I am going to be looking into this. But Conservacare, they do, I'm going to hopefully be offering that to homeowners, where there's an energy analysis, an energy audit, things that we can do to make your home the most efficient before going solar. So that we are sizing your system appropriately, because gone are the days of oversizing it by 200% because you're going to plan for an electric vehicle and things like that. You're just going to be paying, well, I don't know, you're just going to be paying, but the buyback rate is where you're going to get, it's going to be hard to stomach, because it's going to be 5 to 8 cents is what you will get paid for overproduction at the end of the year. So it's net billing. You true up every month, but at the end of the year, if you have net metering credits remaining, you're only going to get paid 8 cents, 5 to 8 cents, which is way below what you can get solar for, even if you pay cash. Yeah, even if you pay cash. For some, I can get it to 6.5 cents a kilowatt hour when you pay cash, but not everyone's going to pay cash for their solar system. So anyhow, I hope that if you are thinking of solar, you're under contract, or you're like, what do I do? Make a decision, and you're going to have to be okay with the risk of, can your solar installer get the interconnection paperwork in to the utility company and they accept it within the next 120 days? Because as Brian said earlier, the updated version allows for up to 3 years to get the building permit signed off and for interconnection. So that is a silver lining there. So that's good. You know, if you need a main panel upgrade, if you need a new roof to go solar, like I have some homeowners right now, we have been trying so hard to get them solar. They've been it's just been a challenge, and they're probably going to be watching this in the replay, and we're going to have a conversation, another conversation about how do we size your system properly, what's going to be the most beneficial for you, because not everyone is going to get a battery, unfortunately, even though the utility commissioners think that's the solution. Not everyone can get a battery. Not everyone is going to have a large enough solar system to maximize the benefit of the battery. Not everyone wants to add another $15,000 to $20,000 plus for one battery, you know. And then supply chain shortages. There's just not enough batteries that are going to be able to be installed with the demand of solar systems, that at least historically what we've seen installed. So yeah, let me know, guys, whatever questions you have, put them in the comments. I will read them later on, and I will make sure I get answers. I don't have all the answers, but I have enough information to let you know that what's happening. 120 days from here to get installed. For those that are in solar and you help homeowners, I'm opening up a membership called the Solar Queen Society. I'm still putting everything together, but if you are wanting training on how to sell batteries, how how to size systems properly, and you want hand holding through these next 120 to 180 days as we go on to the new solar frontier, in a sense, you should probably think about doing that, because I'm going to be making sure all of my sales team is equipped and ready to go, so that homeowners are educated, informed, and can make the right decision of the right system size. And the truth is this are looking to the solar consultants for the proper sizing and whatnot. So we're just educating how solar is going to be optimized and best practices for going forward. So let me know if you're watching on Facebook. You can message me on Facebook if you want, or send me an email. My email. Oh, here, I can show you. This is my email address right there. Jamie@jamiegreenthesolarqueen.com. You can send me an email there. If you're interested in solar for your home and you want to move quickly, you can go to my website at jamiegreenthesolarqueen.com. You can fill out the form there, and you can set up an appointment on my calendar. My kids are going to be on Christmas break starting Friday, so I probably will be modifying my schedule slightly on availability, because we'll probably meet on Zoom or on a phone call, and the kids like to interrupt or come in and just check out what's going on sometimes. Or it's the opportunity that they take to ask mommy for things that I normally might say no to. If I'm on a Zoom or on a phone call, I am a little bit more gracious and lenient. I might say yes. And so they capitalize on that. But I do want you to reach out and let me know if you are wanting to move forward with solar, and I'll get proposals out. We'll just get things done as quickly as possible for you. Get it in the queue, and try and get you locked into NEM 2.0. That's the only thing I can offer you. I know the installers across the state are going to be doing everything that they possibly can to get you solar powered and interconnected, or at least get those applications in by April 15th, which is also tax day. Interesting. It's just so many things. So many things. I did make a post on one of the solar groups in Facebook that it'll be interesting to see if we read the headlines of the utility companies posting record profits first quarter of 2023, and even probably into second and third. I mean, we're probably going to see those headlines, because there's going to probably be a slowdown in solar adoption until things shake out and get understood and whatnot. So yes. Okay. That is it, guys. Have a great night. I will come back and check comments later on, and check my inbox and emails and all that good stuff. I hope you guys have a great evening, and I will see you later. Bye.